All right, guys, we are back for another live episode of Muscle Discord. We got Coach Rich. Brother, thank you for coming back on. There's the Jamaican tank. There you are. We just went live. We just went live. So perfect timing. Perfect timing, Phil. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay. Waiting for it to connect.
I think he deserves a drum roll, Phil.
Yeah. All right. I think we're live. I think it's a little bit delayed here, but there we go. Now it's connected. Okay. All right. So Phil Clahar, welcome to the live show. Appreciate you, brother.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you, man.
This is gonna be a good one.
Yep.
Lots to talk about, especially with regards to judging, and Phil knows a lot about that. And controversial show, the UK Pro show just wrapped up this weekend, and we had Bruno Santos winning. I didn't agree with that. A lot of people didn't agree with that. We had Andre Presti coming in second, and we're gonna go over that. I got the comparison set up here for us to go over, and we're gonna take Richard's opinion on it. We're gonna get Phil's opinion on it. Both have lots of experience, and everyone knows my opinion, but I want to hear your take on it, right? So we're gonna jump into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna share the screen here, and then we're gonna go through this here, guys, and get your take on it.
Sounds good.
All right, let me make sure I change the setup here. That one. Should we go there? Yeah, there we go. That works. Okay, so there was only on the NPC Online, there was only the front double bicep, the side chest, back, rear, double, and that was it. There was only like 5 poses because they missed some of the shot. The side tricep, they didn't have one of Andre. I don't know how hard it is to take pictures, but they missed pictures of him and got all the pictures of Bruno for some reason. Like a little bit of favoritism there. I don't know, but they missed photos of Andrea. So these are the only ones we can compare. So let me see if this is better. There we go. Okay. So front double bicep. I'm not going to give my opinion, but in your opinion here, guys, who's winning the front double bicep?
Well, first off, I just say it's an honor to be in the same podcast with you, Phil.
Yeah, you guys have
utmost respect. So if it's up to you, if it's okay with you, I'd like to give my opinion first, but the floor is yours.
Yeah, I should have said.
Thank you. Listen, it's great meeting you as well, and thank you very much. But no, go ahead. I like to be last.
Okay. No problem, sir. Thank you. Honestly, when I look at this pose, the first thing that stands out to me is I look at overall balance, and the first primary point of any pose, I look at the stomach and then I look at everything else. Yeah. So when I see this first, to me, it stands out overall, hits him right away, Presti wins. That's Mike.
All right. Phil, your take on the frontal bicep.
My breakdown, I think Presti is a little bit bigger in the upper body. Condition, no doubt. I mean, he came in way better than he did the week prior. Legs are separated. I give Presti the win for the front double bicep.
Okay. I agree. Front double bicep, the lats are more flaring. Arms there's a little bit more separation. Bruno has more of a flat peak on his biceps. The waist to hip ratio is better on Andrea. Yes, the quads are slightly smaller than Bruno's, but there's more separation. There's more hardness in the quads. They're drier. They're more cut. Overall, it's just a better aesthetically pleasing shot on Andrea versus Bruno. But I'm going to love to hear what Tyler Mannion has to say when he breaks down these poses, because he was there judging the show. He was the head judge. So he's going to do the recap, and we're all going to get... I'm so glad he was judging this one, because we're going to actually get an explanation as to like what happened at this show. So we're not going to be able to hide from... They're not going to be able to hide from that one. They got to answer to... everyone that's been voting on this is like 70-80% say Presti should have got a Presti. AJ was there. He said Presti. He was in the front row. He should Presti had this. No questions asked. Presti should have won this show. Side chest.
Okay. Side chest. What stands out to me is first thing is the chest. Presti showing more of a wide clavicle. His chest is really popping. And then you look at basically the arms from the branchials on the sides are popping. And then I look down from shoulder all the way down to the ground. It hits right away the hamstring. The drop in the hamstring, it pops out. It looks more detailed, more refined. Whereas Bruno, like you said, in my opinion, he looks more round, but soft round, where it doesn't show the separation. So in this pose, to me, I like Presti. It's not by a lot, but what stands out to me, I look at the lines and the hamstring just drops, so just boom. Yes, it's a side chest, and his chest is more popping, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. Presti's chest looks nice and full. He's turning a little bit, so he's out angling Bruno. The feathering in the glutes and the hamstring drop, I mean, it's no question. I mean, I have a brief idea why they gave Bruno the win, but Presti looks much more. My eyes just draw more to Presti in this pose as well.
Yeah, I agree. This is what I was calling out on the live stream. Even though the live stream wasn't really good quality, I could still tell that side quad on Presti was just more dramatic. Your eye was drawn to it. The hamstring separation between the hamstring and the quad is more evident. That means his conditioning is better. The feathering in the quads, like Phil said, or in the glutes, is way more evident on Presti. Just a balance from top to bottom, the way the chest is, the thickness of the chest, the way he's posing it, the presentation counts as well. Bruno really needs to work on his posing. So, and the hamstring drop down, you can just see the thickness in his hamstring is way more than it is, or at least 10 to 15% more than is on Bruno. And Bruno has bigger quads. So where Bruno, makes up from the front quads, Andrea makes up from the side, and you're going to see from the back as well on his leg development. So conditioning wise, you got better shape, size, and symmetry in this pose. You're going to win this pose. So pretty hard to debate the side chest pose. So 2-0 for Presti on both poses we've been through. Okay, the biggest pose of them all, the back double bicep. Richard.
Whew. Like I said, I'm not trying to be biased. I just go by from what I see. Detail starting from look at the rear rhomboids and Presti. It just density. When I look at that, right, the first thing comes up to me is the density. The lat drop is just, you see it showing the bicep peak, the delt peak, and then going down to the lower back. You just see like the muscles are popping, which is balanced, and then you come down. Glutes, you're seeing lines, so he's striated there. It may not show the roundness, but look at the details in the hamstring. Like you just see detail. As soon as you look at Presti, you see detail. When it comes to Bruno, yeah, I can see some areas where they might say, well, he's bigger, but comes down to his posing. His posing doesn't accentuate how it really should be. It's a back double bi. To me, Presti has a back, he has a bicep. Lower hamstrings, glutes, no lines in Bruno. I just, like I said, it just looks there. That's 3-0 for Presti for me.
Yeah. Presti on they both look pretty much even, somewhat in the leg area. Presti, of course, conditioning. We're going to leave that as a A+. I'm looking at the double bicep. The lats on Presti is wider. I also agree with how his delts and his front shoulders, everything just looks round and popping. Bruno looks good, but I'm just looking at the detail and the muscles just popping from the back, from the lats, the width of the lats, and then his front shoulders, his delts, his bicep. I mean, if you look at Bruno, you don't see that front delt popping from the front to the back. And then the muscle density and width, you don't see it. He has a great back, but it just doesn't look as appealing as Presti.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, that's a pretty clear win for Andre Presti on the back double bicep. The separation and the detail in the upper back, the lower back, The width of the lats, the hamstrings and glutes are more peeled, separated hamstrings over Bruno. Bruno looks to me like he needs to diet for another 2 weeks or so and just dry out more. And then maybe he could have taken this, in my opinion, right? He does have a little bit more of a rounder, muscle belly looking physique to than Presti does. But Presti put in the work. He came in condition. He has enough size, separation, and symmetry to stand next to Bruno. He was ahead. We're going to talk about the scorecard. He was ahead in prejudging by 7 points. And then Bruno jumped ahead and beat him with a perfect score of 5 in the finals. So we'll get to that. We'll get to how does that even possibly happen when there's the prejudging and then an hour and a half later there's the finals and somehow miraculously Bruno wins the show and leapfrogs ahead of Louis Breed, who's in second during prejudging. So this is just something is not right here, guys. And so this is why I'm so adamant. I'm standing up for the athletes. Presti messaged me on the DMs like, man, thank you, brother. Thank you for doing this. Like, he knows. He's like, thank you. Appreciate this. So next. That's 3-0 for Andrea.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Back, rear, lat, spread.
Okay. Now, this is where I can see some catching up. Me, how I like my back, I like to tell a story. I like to see muscles there popping. And upper back, I give this to Bruno, in my opinion. I just see it's more full, more detail. Presti's back, I don't know why some bodybuilders do that arch, that hunchback. I think it loses it, in my opinion. It doesn't show the true density of the back. So as we move down, but like I said, you look at the glutes and Presti has sharper glutes there. Bruno's legs haven't improved coming down, but it's a rear lat spread. So let's talk about the lats. In this opinion, I can see Presti's slight edge. Bruno's slight edge in the rear lat spread. That's what I see. But like I said, if it's a win, could be a coin toss. But I'll give this to Bruno. That's my point.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. I think Presti is posing. I don't like when they do that cobra type thing and lead in. I think that's what's taken away from Presti having definition in his back because he's so peeled. I mean, his back, if he was more upright, I think it would be a big difference. Bruno, yes, he looks just more defined in the upper back where Presti is wider. I totally agree with the fact that he's wider, but I can see Bruno edging him out in this pose right here, which is the last spread.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with what you guys are saying, but I still think Presti, in my opinion, wins his pose. Yes, he's posing it a little bit incorrectly, but his lats are wider. Now, Bruno, you can see he's a little bit narrower in the clavicle, so he's got more of a rounder looking muscle belly back, but because the condition is lacking, and then I go down to the glutes and hamstrings and I see the gap between his legs in the back there, means he's missing a little bit of muscle development. Like doesn't have as thick as hamstrings as Presti does. So from a flow standpoint, I see more of a T in Bruno versus an X frame on Presti. So I just feel like the physique is more finished and filled out versus Bruno in this shot. I think his back just looks a little bit narrow in this. And I just feel like it's like a more complete shot, even though Presti's just hunched forward a little bit too much. If he just kind of tilted back a little bit, you probably see a little bit more pop in his back. But I would give this one to Presti. I just feel like the lats are wider and it's just more balanced pose versus I see gaps in the hamstring area on Bruno if you want to do a complete top to bottom. But this is good. That's good. We don't all have to agree. That's the good thing about the show. You're gonna have your opinion. I have my opinion. This is kind of what I'm seeing there in the rear lat. But so we'll give Bruno the rear lat spread because you guys overseed me because there's 2-1 here. So you guys will do that. We'll
listen, Bruno could open up. He could open up a little bit more.
Yeah, it looks like
I know how the judges think a little bit, and if they see a little bit of, even though Presti's wide, he's making his back look a little smooth. And if you notice the lighting, if he's arched in, I know a little bit. I mean, I'm no judge, but I've been doing this for, a while, and I can see, and I think Tyler may give this shot to Bruno as well. But yeah, Bruno's not really opening up, but he's pinching a little bit, but it's just not the width, it's just a little bit of detail in his upper back. And I know Presti already beat him in the conditioning in the legs, but they're saying, lat spread, even though they're looking at the whole body and glutes, it's lat spread. So yeah, Presti is definitely wider. That I do totally agree.
Yeah. And I get it. You say, okay, it's the lat spread, rear lat spread. So we think, okay, should we just be focusing on the back? No, because and you look at the frontal bicep, if a guy has really skinny legs, they're like, wow, he's missing the legs in this shot. Because they're looking at everything, right? They're not just looking at the biceps. So that's why I go to the hamstring and glutes and the thickness and the fullness and the completeness, factor it into the complete package. And who has the best back in with the complete package? And I would go with Andrea with that one. Lee Preist in the chat.
Yep.
Lee, if you're at home in front of your desk, I'll send you the link and you can pop in here. And because Lee's been very opinionated on it. So Lee, let me know if you're at home. I will send you the link and you can join in with us. So yeah, we did the rear lat. So that's was it 3 poses
3-1.
to 1? 3-1.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. And was this, we didn't have all the poses because we didn't have all the comparison shots to go off. So this is the last one, I think. Now,
Okay.
I'll let you guys.
This one's tough because, like I said, I will say, let's start with Bruno. I don't know if they just caught him into the pose, and the most muscular just doesn't seem like it's fully set. But that being said, when I look at Presti, and like I said, wow, it's just that's overall balance.
Oh shit! Sorry,
Oops.
Restart. There we go. I think it's because it's the end.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, overall balance, abs, shoulders popping, chest, arms. It's the most muscular. You're showing most muscular. Legs, like I said, maybe not as dense and full as Bruno, but is he going in between the pose? It looks like it is, but I when I look at cleanly, like what's clean to me, it's sharp. I have to give this one to Presti. I just see lines. Like I said, he's conditioned. And I don't want to use that all the time, but it is what it is. This is what I see. Most muscular conditioned. Look at the chest. You see little lines in the chest, his delts, his arms. Like it's a good pose for him. So I'd give this one to Presti. Not by a lot, but he wins this pose. That's my take.
Okay. All right. Bruno, once again, he's pinching. I mean, I'm just not a fan of that with a lot of bodybuilders pinching, because he can open up and make himself look a little bigger. Presti overall. Now I have to say this because last week these gentlemen was both in the same show.
Yeah,
Presti is definitely sharper, 100% in this show than he was in last week. I don't think Bruno came back better. So when we talk about, because this is going to be mentioned a lot, everybody's going to say Presti's legs, Presti legs. Listen, man, this guy's made it to the Olympia a few times.
Yes.
Okay. And if that was the case, then Bruno would have took him out last week. If that was the case, if it was legs and size, muscularity and all that. But when I look at this shot right here, my eyes draw more to Presti, not just with the conditioning. He's hitting it. He's open. He looks big. The separation in his quads. I like how he's positioning his legs because it gives him a little bit of adductors in the middle there, so his legs don't look super narrow. But I still think overall, and I give it, I don't think it's, my opinion, I don't think it's a small, I think Presti just completely takes over this shot, the most muscular.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with both of you. And good point, Phil, in saying that if this was about the legs, then Bruno would have beat him last week in Italy.
Yep.
So I mean, it's like people they pick apart Presti. Well, his legs and his triceps, and then it makes him lose the whole show. It's like that's it. It's like there's not more to it. So we're gonna get into the scorecards now. So let's just say how many poses did he win the back?
4-1.
Rear lat, 4-1, just out of these poses.
Just out of these poses.
Then, out of these poses, and then there was the side tricep. I'd actually give the side tricep to Bruno because he's got bigger triceps, and I'll give. That was the one I was giving him in my recap. There's Lee. Just let him get set up, and then Okay, there's Lee.
I think Phil hit
What's up, brother?
Lee, what's up, man?
Hey,
What's up,
Lee?
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you for joining last minute here.
You
But-
know, I'll come on to say something to upset Bob.
Yes, we got to talk about Bob too, man. He's radio silence on Bob
Ugh.
in this particular matchup. I asked Bob in the comments, well, what's your opinion on this? Should Presti should have won this, or what's your deal? And nothing. So that's interesting.
Man, if these people want to know what's up, they need to contact me. I am the athlete's rep. They know my number. They know my email. They contact me, Matt. That's how it goes.
Yes. Like send Bob a DM, I guess. That's how it works. That's how the professionalism is here with no email, just the DMs direct is good enough. Lee, like what's your you've been very vocal on this show. Who did you have winning this?
Like I said, it's always hard going off photos, but going off
Yeah.
what I saw, the videos and that, I still would have given the edge to Presti. Yes, Bruno has a little bit more mass, but then other shows when guys have had conditioning, they're like conditioning one, he was a little bit off. But this time they're saying, the mass was more important than the conditioning. So if you go on, like you said, pose for pose, this and that, looking at weaknesses, I still think Presti comes up with less weaknesses to give him the win. And to say, what was it, the week or two before when he beat him by 6 points,
Yeah.
it was like, it's a big jump. Then it was like even the scorecard from this show where he was winning at prejudging. Then the night show, he just flies ahead. Like all of a sudden, did the judges get the memo? Here, fix your fucking numbers and make it right for tonight.
So yeah, okay. Talking about scorecards. Okay, so prejudging, Bruno was had 12 points. Andrea had 9, and then Louis Breed had 10. So Louis Breed was actually ahead of Bruno in the prejudging. And then this show was a one show format, so they had final prejudging, and then an hour and a half later they had the finals.
Mhm.
And then in that hour and a half, Bruno jumped 7 points and won the show.
You can understand, like when they do a day, which I hate the day shows where it's prejudging one day, finals the next. You can maybe understand something like that happening. We've seen it at the Olympia where someone will come back 24 hours later a lot tighter, but an hour and a half, there's not much that's really going to change when you look at his prejudging photos to the nighttime. Well, not the nighttime, just an hour and a half later. There's nothing drastic where you're like, wow, look at the improvement he made in an hour and a half. Come on. It's like,
Exactly. It doesn't make sense. Like I said, Lee hit it on the nail on the button. Like I can see a whole 6 hours or a whole day, but within 1 hour, what are you going to do? Grow a new body part? Like,
Well, if you heard Dave Palumbo when he explained it,
Mhm.
they were all over the place in prejudging, score-wise.
Mhm.
But for some reason, on the finals, they were all on the same page. That's the interesting part, and Dave's saying it just doesn't make any sense. They weren't sure, so the numbers were all over the place in the morning. But then I don't want to say morning. It was, I don't know what time it was there. But then you come hour and a little bit later, and then now everybody's on the same page. It normally never really happens that way in a show, especially with that short time in between.
only if you had a talk and do and someone's gone around and said, change it. Because there was days I used to speak to some judges who didn't judge anymore, and once they weren't a part of the organization, they would tell me sometimes that they'd have somebody in first or second, and a few of the other judges had the same, and then when the results were read out, they're sitting there like, huh? How did that happen? So it's like what they had in front of them wasn't the same as what was being read out come the award presentation. So
Well, this leads you to my point. In my opinion, is like, I don't want to give him the recognition, but let's just call him the voice, where he said there's no politics. This is a prime example. There had to be a political issue here. Like there had to be some type of politics, because within an hour you can't make that jump. I don't care. You can't justify it. Like, I'm not a judge, but I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I've pushed a lot and I've seen a lot. You're gonna have to wow me and explain to me by breaking atoms and to like explain and justify this. I want to hear this.
even if you went crazy and took fucking Lasix to try get rid of some water, or you went to think, fuck, I'm going to have a big burger and fries, that would barely kick in within an hour and a half,
Phil, you mentioned something earlier. You said you kind of know what you think happened to make this jump. What's your thought on like what happened here with this scoring?
You know me, I gotta be careful what I say.
Yeah.
So I don't want Bob coming after me again.
Yeah.
It's just listen, man. It's just experience. You know, you don't necessarily have to really be a judge if you have knowledge of bodybuilding. You know what I mean? Even like this, you know, Jay Cutler, Dexter Jackson, they've all voiced their opinion in private on, you know, how the judging may go and flow. So with me being around, you know, I mean, there was an instance I think in Chicago. I can't remember the gentleman that jumped up almost 9 points from prejudging into the night show. And I've never seen these points jump so high in any other show in any other time except for this year. So, you know, you got to read between the lines. You know what I mean? I don't want to discredit, you know, any of the judges. I mean, they're doing their job. I do know that it was two different set of judges between Italy and here. And I just know certain judges like a certain look. You know what I mean? And you're going to get that. You know, you could be at one show where it's all about size and not so much conditioning. Then it's a show where it's structure, shape, flow, and all that good stuff. And then it could be a show, it could just be really all conditioning. It all really comes down to what the judges are looking for in that show. I'm just confusing this show because Presti, to me, brought well conditioning, good shape, good flow. I think he's big enough because I've competed against a guy. You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't know. I just know that they tend to sway. Now, me personally, I would thought they would put Presti in it because he's been to the Olympia quite a few times, so he's earned his stripes. So this shocked me on all angles, in all aspects, because I totally did not understand.
And I agree with that too, where it's like, you know, even if you're a judge, it's weird because I like the freaky mass monsters, but to me, I like the freaks that are like Paul Dillette, freaky but still had shape and symmetry and that. So I guess you know, everyone's going to have their own biased opinion of what they like. Somebody likes the more conditioned Presti, someone likes a bit more mass, and it's the same with cars. I see some older cars, Ferraris, I'm like, oh, piece of shit. Someone's like, oh, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, but I'd rather look at a Lamborghini or something. You know, we all have our preferences. The only thing I say with bodybuilding is, though, as a bodybuilding judge, yes, you might have your favorite physique might be someone freaky and mass monster, but you have a criteria. Set your opinion aside, judge from the criteria you're given on the shape, symmetry, conditioning. So yes, you might like a mass monster, but if he doesn't have what you're meant to be judging on that criteria, you can't put him first. You can't just let your preference say, okay, that's what I like, you know, he's more like me. So I think sometimes they let the judging criteria go and they say shows are one from the back. And I've read some comments here, Presti doesn't have calves. When for the last 20 years have fucking calves ever mattered at a fucking show? Come on. It's
True.
Yeah.
True.
Exactly.
Never judged on calves. So don't try and throw it in now. Oh, yeah, better calves. Well, I've seen Mr. Olympias with zero calves. To me, if you're missing a body part, how can you win a show? It's like if you turned up with no arms, would you win? No. So why do calves get overlooked?
Exactly. It's called bodybuilding. You're building a better body. Bodybuilding. So, like,
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so I don't know. My opinion on kind of what happened here with the judging is you can't, your body isn't going to change in an hour and a half. Maybe it comes in a little bit fuller or something because you add a burger and fries or whatever. Maybe you dry out a little bit. Okay, maybe that'll pump you up like 3 or 4 points, maybe. Okay, and maybe he was third behind Lewis in the prejudging, and then maybe bumps up a few spots and takes second. But just dramatically, miraculously, just go 7 points up and just like fucking take the show.
You can understand that more where we've seen shows where they've been super close, where it could be a 1 or 2 point. Then you could understand, okay, he slipped ahead because there's only 1 point difference after prejudging. But to have 7 points, that's a big jump.
Yeah. So we're gonna see what Tyler Mannion has to say.
Then Bob has already replied to me saying,
okay.
It's like, no politics apart from the shows you won, Lee. I said, no, there's still politics in those shows too, because it was funny. I wrote back to Bob saying, you say there's no politics, but I got a new documentary coming out, and on it, it's like Flex is on it, Dennis James is on it, and in this one question they asked, if Lee kept his mouth shut more, would he have placed better and won more shows? Flex Lewis, Jay Cutler, Dennis James, Melvin Anthony, all of them said, yes, Lee would have done better if he kept his mouth shut. So if there's no politics and I'm meant to be judged on my physique, why would they say that?
Exactly.
It shouldn't matter what my opinion is. If I say, listen, the athletes are treated bad, which they were back then, it's like, why should that affect how I get placed on the day if I look good? But sadly, a lot of them take it to heart and don't like you criticizing. Because all my years I competed, not once did I ever go and ask a judge, how do you think I should improve that? Because to me, half the judges look like they've never trained a day in their life. And then it was always like when, you know, Jim Mannion would come to town, Paul was live with me. He's like, Lee, we're going over to show Jim how we're looking. You're going to come? I'm like, Jim will see me today at a fucking show. And I'm nothing against Jim, but I'm not one of those people that's going to go pose for someone, a head judge or an official, so long before a contest to see how I look. And when they say, again, there's no politics, look, when Rami didn't turn up to Pittsburgh, how many people were saying, this is going to affect him. He didn't show up for Jim Mannion. This is going to affect him. But if there's no politics, why would it affect him if he doesn't show up?
Yeah.
That's a point. Exactly. Good point.
Yeah. There has to be some type of personal bias when you're a judge. You have a favorite, you have a fan. You're like this you're not a robot. Sorry, you have emotions, you have feelings. You know. So I just feel like there is a little. Is it purposely politics? Maybe not purposely, unless there's some kind of money being exchanged in the background or something that we don't know, or there's something going on in the hotel room before. I don't know. But anyways, like things like that, then maybe okay, there could be an influence. But I think it's like a lot of it's just like bias and personal preference, and that's what skews these shows so much drastically show to show now. It's just like it's just weird. So
You know, it's I don't want to say. I'm gonna say it like this: everything in this entire world, there's some type of political aspect to it.
Yeah.
You could have a person looking for a job, went to college, did everything he or she was supposed to do, applied for a job. First thing they tell them is they have no experience. That's what a lot of people are complaining right now after they put their time in college and go out for, whatever job they're trying to seek. But then you'll have, let's say, Susie, uncle knows the CEO or somebody of a suit in that company, and the person that applied could have all the credentials, but they're going to take Susie over that person because of the connections they have within that business. So at the end of the day, not saying there is, but there's politics in everything in this world. No matter where you're at, what job you're working, position you're working, if it's worth anything, there's always something. It's a business in a lot of aspects, in a lot of different revenues, in a lot of different things. So not saying that is the case, but no one should ever say there's no politics at all in anything, because I believe that that's untrue, and that's my personal opinion.
100%. Like I said, great point, Phil. Let's think of it this way. There has to be politics, because without politics, views or whatnot, you can't differentiate between right and wrong. You can't think between true, untrue. So there has to be a politics, because there has to be rules, and without rules, there's chaos. So when you're looking at something or assuming or pre-notion in your mind, you're passing a judgment, and to have a judgment, you have to have a view. That's a political view. So don't come with no politics. Come on, guys. Like, not taking anything away from the judges. We know you have a tough job. All we're asking is for a better explanation on your point of view. You asked us to come in sharper. You asked us to come in better, tighter. Okay, so give me a reason behind that. Don't just say, well, you weren't dry enough. You weren't big enough. That's a cop-out. Explain to us why.
I used to hate it back in the day, even like talk about politics and things get political. Something as simple, I used to hate, like the Olympia poster, where it would have like Phil and Kai, or Phil, Kai, and somebody else. I'm like, there's more than 3 people in the show. If you just keep putting these people, when they walk on stage, that's who everyone's looking at straight away. That's who the judges are looking at straight away. To me, it's like, if you're going to have a Mr. Olympia poster, just have the past winner on it, or have nobody on it, because you're starting to create bias by having some big names on the poster, because then everyone's looking to them. Yeah, they can be the front runners, but still, to me, when the pre-judging's on, don't automatically go Derek, Hadi, this and that. Mix it up. Keep people guessing. Throw people out there. Make the competitors think. Like, if you're Hadi and Derek standing there and the first call out is somebody who think you should be 6 or 7, you're going to think, fuck, do I not look good? Shit, what's going on? Like, just play with it. Stop playing the game where these big names come out first, so we know who's going to be in the top 5 or 6. Then we do the next call out, who's going to be 6 to 8. It's like, stir it up a bit, mix it up where everyone's confused, make it fun.
Yeah, I see that. I just like it when it's like this is the top six. We know these guys should be, because I just freak out. I just like, I can't, my brain goes crazy when there's some weird call out and it's like, why is this guy way off to the left? Is it like, so that's just how I.
That's what I hate to do when they do that, because to me, if you make the top six and you're sixth or seventh or whatever, but yet sometimes the guy that gets six is never compared next to the guy who's first and second. To me, if you're in that top six and you're the winner, everyone should have had a chance to stand next to that winner so they can compare them. Because even on the Olympia stage, you're not that far away, but it does make a difference when you're 3 or 4 competitors down from somebody. So you should have at least had the chance to stand beside the winner pose for pose so they can make sure accurately they have the correct placings.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's quickly transition to Patrick Moore. Update, Patrick Moore blocked me. I was
What did you say?
I know. So I said in my predictions video for this show that Patrick Moore has a lot to prove, right? He's been at the Olympia before. He's got great genetics, good structure, right? He's got a lot to prove. He's been away for a bit, he's, whatever. So he's got a lot to prove. This is a big show for him to prove it. And he didn't. And, he came in, I think, 7th, if I'm not mistaken. And I guess didn't like that. But the thing is, before this, we were working out an interview for him to come on the show before this show. And he was talking to me and we were going back and forth, trying to set up a time and this and that. And then I guess I make my video and I'm too blunt. And Lee, you've said this too. Like, why are bodybuilders, some of them, such pussies when it comes to like?
He got like, man, if you look at like the old days of gladiators and all these tough guys, you watch the old tough movies of Charles Bronson and that, when men were men, it's like they had the muscular bodies and they were tough. It's like you never sort of see those guys get upset because someone goes, oh, your arms look small, or your arms look this. It's like we have fucking huge muscular men who are meant to be the epitome of male manhood, testosterone, and yet they're fucking crybabies. They get upset over someone's opinion, and half the time the people who give their opinion, you don't know them, so why should it even bother you? It's like everyone's going to have an opinion. You can be Mr. Olympia, look perfect, and you're still going to have your haters. So I don't see why they let it get to them. It's like you just look at it and go, okay, that's fine. And then I notice a lot too, because Nick's been getting a lot, but then I sometimes figure, I know it's not their contracts. They have to always come online with their shirts off. It's like, do what they did the old days a bit, cover up. Because look, Nick looks great, but I sometimes look at Nick now and I'm like, but I think that's just, we see so much of him. Like it's almost like overexposure. When you see someone so much, they don't have that wow factor anymore. Whereas if Nick was to do photos in a t-shirt and shorts for 6 months and then all of a sudden took his shirt off, you'd probably be like, fuck, look at Nick. But when you see him all the time, you start nitpicking all this stuff that you wouldn't even really pick. It's like when we see ourselves all the time. We don't notice changes in our bodies. The more we look at ourselves, I'm like, fuck, I look like shit. And then someone sees you, oh, you're looking great. You're like, really? So I think sometimes these guys with too much exposure can go against them, because with all the critics online, the more you show yourself, they're just going to start nitpicking. And the new flavor of the month comes along. Oh, well, look at him now. Look at Andrew Jack now. How after he looked at his last show, it was like, he's going to beat Nick now. He's going to beat Nick, because we've seen so much of Nick, but we hadn't seen Andrew Jack look like that. So I think some of these guys maybe put a t-shirt on for a while and just take your photos.
But you know what? Yeah. Sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Why do we bodybuild? To show our physique, correct?
Yeah.
We come into bodybuild because we know that we want to show our hard work. We know we're going to get judged by the judges. We want your feedback. So what we do, if we're giving feedback and you're going to get all emotional and panties in a knot, don't compete. Because I know for a fact, if I'll use his name, if Tyler Mannion says something bad about you, are you going to block him?
No.
No.
Right?
They'll be like, thank you, Tyler. Thank you for that input. I'll work on
yes,
that.
I'll take it.
Very much.
That's my point. And leads to, so there is views, political views. Like, come on, guys. Guys, grow up, man. We're men. Like, if you can't take the critique, don't compete.
Exactly. And how can you not laugh? Because really, we love the sport, but look at what we do. We get up there in little posing trunks, cover ourselves in oil, and flex away like, look at me, judge my body. But as soon as someone says anything bad, it's almost like when Instagram that first came out and all these girls were getting upset because I put up a sexy photo. they could have like 200 comments all positive. They get the one negative one. It's like, I'm going to kill myself. I can't believe that person didn't like my photo. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, I don't understand with, like, I didn't say anything bad about it. I mean, I said, like, he has a lot to prove because you're just, there's a lot riding on you. I like your physique. I think you have a great physique. You could do well. Like, that's good pressure, I think. Like, right? It's like I didn't, like, not even have to
that
talk
double
about it.
bicep there reminds me of the day of like Brian Buchanan back in the day.
Yeah.
Small waist and his taper and that. So, he's got a great physique. He can only improve. But, like you said, hasn't competed for a while. So just saying he has a bit to prove, we haven't seen how he looks. Well, you're not saying anything bad about him.
No, because I think you said that the streaming made him look like he wasn't in good conditioning, right?
Yeah,
Then when
you
you
can see
saw AJ's pics, you gave him the props. You said he is in good conditioning. I mean, the conditioning is good, but he's been in the game for a while. He's not a young puppy. You know what I mean? I competed against him a while back, and he beat me. We had took a picture after. It was me, him, and Big Quentin. And somebody made a comment that, wow, Clahar, you make Patrick look small. I think he deleted me too. I know somebody made a comment, and it wasn't from me.
Yeah.
And I think he had deleted me back then at that time. I think he's very he's a nice guy. I hear him talk a lot. He did make a post video prior to the show. But yes, he cannot take criticism. And that's why I said a few times when I do these podcasts, listen, if you're going to put yourself out there, be ready for whatever comes with it, or don't put yourself out there at all, and then you have to worry about it. But the guy's he's in great condition. His problem, he has to put on more size. And when he did that blurry picture, made his quads look really big.
Yeah.
I said, no, Patty. There's a reason why he made it blurry like that. And then when I saw his legs, so honestly, he's a great athlete, small waist, tight midsection, a credible physique. But these young cats, man, I mean, you got to keep up, and he's not keeping up.
They're coming in big. You know what I'd like to see? I'm not trying to push the agenda and saying switch, but I would just love to see him do some classic poses just to see the structure, because he has the structure. Nothing, he's not a bodybuilder. Like you said, Phil, he needs to put on more size. I just would like to see him do a classic pose just to see and put it side by side by a C-bomb. How far off is he? Like, he's got good lines.
Yeah.
He's fuller. Wow. Like, that's just my intake. Maybe I could be wrong, but I'd like to see it.
You're getting blocked now, saying he should.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, there it is.
Well, you know what?
Go to classic, blocked.
But you know what, Lee? I'm a nobody in the sport. I don't give a fuck. I say my mind.
Yeah, I don't know why they block me. I'm not fucking Nick Strength and Power. I'm not this big fucking force in the industry. So
little YouTube channel, why would he block you?
exactly. Why do they even think? So I don't know. It's just too sensitive. I don't know why they just can't take it. Where he just blocked me. Said no, fuck that
I like
shit.
his physique.
Don't agree with it.
I love
He's got a great physique.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump into that. We'll keep this in an hour here. We're at 45 minutes, so we're almost done. Quick updates on the Olympia, Derek Lunsford. Now, Lee, what is your take on Derek? If you were to put out a prediction there.
He could, with Hadi, and that's hard to say. But then again, if you ask me about the 212, I say fuck it off now, because 212 guys have proved they don't need 212 anymore. When you got Hadi, Derek, we've had Sean Clarita win open. To me, it was like making a 212 was good for a while. But now, if you got it, you got it. You can hang in the open. Might take you a little bit longer to put the mass on to hang with the open guys, but I'd rather see a 5'6" and under. That way guys don't have to aim for a weight. They can just max out, where Derek could have maxed earlier. Look, to me, Flex Lewis would have won an open Olympia if he had done it, but he stayed in the 212 for 7 years. I reckon he could have won an open and been the first to have both before Derek. But the thing is, I like Derek's physique and I like Hardy's, but I guess I'm just so old school. When I saw Dorian or Ronnie or Phil Heath, when you saw those guys, you just knew no one was touching them. It was like, okay, who's going to get second? If these guys are on, you're not going to beat them. But to me, Derek's great, but to me, he's beatable. Hardy's beatable. So that's what I think makes the Olympia exciting this year, where no one has a dominance like we've seen before with Ronnie and Phil and them. So as good as Derek is, I still think he can get beat by a Hardy or maybe a Samson, or maybe Andrew jacked if he nails it. So I think that's what makes the Olympia exciting, that no one's really got it locked in. Yeah, we can say Derek could repeat, but can he if Hadi comes in that much tighter? So I think it's going to be a fun Olympia because, like I said, nothing's set in stone. Yeah, he might be the heir apparent again, but who knows till the day of the show. But yeah, but people got upset when I said get rid of the 212 and just go back to height classes. And
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the 212. What do you guys think too? While we have you here, what do you think about the 212? Should we keep it? Should we get rid of it? Is there any point for it? Lee made a great points about why fucking give a hand me down to 212. Like why just compete as a bodybuilder?
Go 190 for the people who can't make 212. Do we go 180 for the ones who can't make one? That's like if you're going to the Olympics, you want the best of the best. If you want to win you want to beat Usain Bolt or someone, you have to run 9 seconds something. They're not going to say, okay, guys, I can't run 9 seconds. We've got a 14-second class for you, so you can still get a medal in this class. Come on, don't get upset.
Yeah,
it's hard to say. Lee, you raised great points. I don't know what the intent was in the beginning, why they brought in. I think it was 202 before, and then it went to 212, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it started 210, then it went to 202, then to 212.
Oh, okay.
So, like, what are you trying to give to us? Like, what's the point of that? Because it's obvious now, guys who won the 212 can do the open.
Mm-hmm.
Prime example, Derek. Sean is one. Keon's gonna go open. We all know that. So those guys leave. Like I said, it's guys who can't become open. Maybe that's a class for them, but it doesn't really bring that oomph, in my opinion.
And I've heard him say that too. I've heard some say, "Well, if there's no 212, where do we compete?" And I hate the sound rude, but I'm like, well, if you can't do good on the 212, maybe you just shouldn't have a pro card. Maybe you should just stay a top amateur because, yes, you got a great physique, but we want the best of the best in the pro ranks. And even if you're like a smaller guy, Labrada did it back in the day, Padilla, there's been lots of guys. If you have what it takes, you can stand in the open classes. And I think sadly now when some guys who they think in their mind you should be in the 212, when they do an open, I don't think they get judged fairly because the judges are thinking, oh, he should be in the 212. He shouldn't be in the open type thing. So I think it just go back to one open class or, like I said, have a height class like they used to with Arnold and Franco and that. That way, if you are 5'6", you can still weigh 220, 225.
That makes sense. I like that.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, height restriction like they did with Franco and Arnold, as Lee's alluded to before, makes a little bit more sense than just giving these people.
Derek now too, because Derek is exploding. Because look how long.
Yeah.
First year of really packing it on because he held himself back. Who knows? Like I said, Flex Lewis to me could have won an open, but look at 7 years, he kept himself under 212 when we saw Flex 3-4 weeks out at 220 odd, and he was jacked and full and hard as nails.
Shredded glutes,
He had to sacrifice muscle to keep going down there, whereas there's a height class, he wouldn't have had to lose all that muscle.
Yeah. I agree with that. Sean Clarita beat Sergio Oliver Jr. and Regan Grimes in a pro show. No problem. Yeah. So it's just but then, we're never going to, a guy like Sean Clarita is never going to win the Open Mr. Olympia. Well, that's just how it is going to be. You might be in the top 6 at the Olympia. That's pretty good. But you may never win it. But that's, Lee tried. You tried to win the Olympia, but you didn't give up because you were getting.
Because I never tried to win the Olympia. To me, that's why you watch all those videos of me training with mitts. I say, don't talk to me. I'm training for 8th place. I'm training for 7th
You're
place.
realistic. Yeah.
Well, my mind back then top 10 qualified for next year. So I always set my mind on 10th place. If I can get 10th, I'm qualified for next year. It takes a bit of pressure off. So the couple of times, like the one time I got 5th and then a couple of 6th, to me, that's a bonus. Even when I got 7th place, I'm like, well, that's a bonus. I had my mind set on 10th. So, and back then for me, in the top 6 back then, that's almost as good as a win to me. So I was a realist. I knew I was never going to win it. People go, you're just upset, you little midget, because you never won the Olympia. I'm like, I knew I'd never win it. So you're not really upsetting me by saying that because I'm a realist when it comes to competing and I know my limits on what I can do. So,
yeah. So, I mean, I think the 212 guys, eventually, I don't know if the class is going to stick around. We'll see. But
we'll have
I would
to
love
talk to the athletes rep and see if we can.
We'll have to talk to the athletes rep and put in a request.
Because like I said, Bob did bring out the 202 to 210. He did bring out the Keeney. He did bring
all
out
the classes.
Yeah.
But like I said, if Bob did that and as a proper athlete's rep, he'd be sending out quarterly emails letting the athletes know, hey guys, this is the stuff I've proposed. This is the stuff that's been passed. Bob, it's not hard every couple of months to send all the athletes a mass email to let them know what you're working on and what you're doing. Or if someone gets a new pro card, it's not hard, Bob, to send an email saying, hi, I'm the athlete's rep. Any queries, any problems you have, contact me. Has he ever done that? No.
No. It's just the way they want it to be. Their opinion, what they want goes, I guess, for now, unless people stand up for themselves. But Hadi Choopan, right now I have Hadi winning the Olympia. I see Derek's chest improved. Do you see what Derek's doing in all his? He's always doing the chest. He's trying to show his chest to see, hey guys, I'm starting to catch up to Hadi in the chest there, but he's not. He's just not there yet. He's trying, but he's not there.
Is it just me, or is it like I love watching people train heavy? I used to do it getting ready for show, but when I see Hadi, because I think he's got a chance to win it. When I see him going crazy heavy doing the squats, like out or so, I'm like, back off! Don't tear something now. It's like.
Hadi's a different animal.
He's like Ronnie.
I get worried. Like,
you know what's interesting though, because this is what I heard. It's not fact, but they said that no Olympian except for Jay Cutler has regained his title. Now we look at Big Romney. Big Romney's always been Big Romney. He got the Olympia title the same way he lost it. Don't make any sense, but he's always been the same way, Big Romney, right? So that's what I'm going to be looking for in this Olympia. Granted, I got to give Derek his respect. He is Mr. Olympia, so I have to keep him at that Mr. Olympia spot until it gets taken away from him.
Yeah.
But if we see the Hadi from Arnold, Ohio, it's going to be very, very interesting between not just them, but Andrew Jack come in better condition with the improvements that he made. Samson, if the pictures that I'm seeing is Samson and he's looking ridiculous the way he's looking now, it's going to be very, very interesting. But even I don't see anyone when Hadi is on like he was in Ohio, it's going to be very interesting. Will they give it to Hadi if he fully deserves it? We don't know.
The other thing too, I will look at he gets left out a lot out of the top 6 and 7. But if he nails it still, I know he's getting older, but even Brandon Curry, he can always turn up and, get top 6, so.
Yeah, we can check out Brandon.
He's
tightening up. Brandon's tightening up. He's bringing it in.
It's just the question is putting him side by side with those guys, then we'll really see how full and dense he's looking.
Yeah, right? Martin looks very good.
Yeah,
Martin looks very good. It's going to be very interesting for the top 8, I want to say. But the top 6, I think that's already pretty much, unless there's some surprises, it's pretty much set in stone how the callouts are going to come out for the top 6.
And
Martin said he was going to be maybe a couple of pounds heavier at the Olympia than what he was when he lost 1 point to Nick. So it's going to be an interesting matchup again with him and Nick to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brandon Curry training legs here. You'll see him doing leg extensions here. I mean, that's the main thing. It's his quads. His upper body is usually fine. So here's the quads 4 weeks out. What are you guys thinking? Is this where it needs to be? Separation? Why? I know he's training, so they're pumped, they're inflamed, but
no.
It's always hard to tell because I've seen guys like Brandon, and you see him a week or two out, and you're like, oh, he's off. Then the day of the show, you're like, oh shit, he's fucking on. So that's why I hate predictions. Until the day of the show, I'm always like, I don't care how you look 2 days before; it's how you look on the day. So
that's my point.
So hard.
I think, like I said, good question, good point. I think it's all matters, and people say, "Oh, he should be tighter 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out." If you look amazing 2 weeks out, how are you going to really peak show day? Because the whole idea is to peak that day. That's what it's to pop that day. So it all boils down to how you look that morning. You'll know. That's what we can really judge it. We don't know. His clothes are on. You have to put them side by side that day, and then a lot of people are going to get exposed. And then the question is, what are you looking for? Fullness, size, or conditioning? Because everybody does something different.
And how many times have we seen? Like, I remember back in the day, you'd see Dennis James 2 weeks out. Dennis looked like a monster, huge, full, shredded. You'd swear he's going to win the Olympia. And how many times have we seen that with a lot of people? You're like, oh my God, look at him 2 weeks out. Come the day to show, you're like, what the fuck happened? What happened to you?
Yeah, I'm hard on Samson. I do think Samson is improving. He does look very, very good. Like now I'm having Samson, like maybe he's gonna keep that third place position here. I can't see him passing Hadi. He's never been able to beat him this year. Two Arnolds. Why is he gonna beat him now? So and then Derek's already beat Samson from last year, and Derek's bringing in the peeled glutes in the back is crazy. And if he improves the chest a little bit and is a little bit bigger this year, I think he should be able to hold off Samson. So I still have Samson in that third place spot.
Samson or Andrew could do, like Ronnie did that 1 year where he was ninth. 1 year was at 97 or whatever, then 98 he won it. So, stranger things can happen where, if Samson or Andrew hit it on that day and they come in and you're just like, holy shit, they nailed it. It's bodybuilding, anything can happen.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. Samson could just really look dominating on that stage and just maybe overtake Hadi. Anything can happen. But the conditioning, I think Samson's on track for, maybe where he needs to be, but is he ahead? I would like him to be ahead of schedule so he just has that harder, drier look when he gets to the stage. If you just time it and you don't let your muscle get that hard, dense look over a longer period of time and hold it, then I used
to always get ready. Like I was always probably ready 3 to 4 weeks, and I always did my photo shoot beforehand. That way I was always flexing at the photo shoot, posing more, and always found getting ready a little earlier. If you are going to try silly stuff like increase your carbs a bit, do this, do that, you got a couple of weeks to experiment rather than, like I said, I hate when people go peak week because, you've been dieting 16 weeks. So 15 weeks, you eat at the same time, cardio at the same time, train at the same time, the supplement you're doing the same. Then that last week, people stop cardio, cut back their training, change their food, change their drugs. And when your body's that sensitive, you make changes that last week, anything can go haywire. So it's best to stick to something good and stay on it right up until the show and then cut your water out the last week or so. But doing these drastic peak weeks, sometimes it's a hit and miss. So.
I agree. I think for me personally, I'm being biased. I want Samson to win. Why? Is because I just see a different take in how his mindset is. Since forget about the meal issue, past that, now if you notice, he just seems more upbeat, more going, more relaxed. I just feel that now, and looking at his abs from, I think the last two photos, like his ab section guest posing, I was like, wow, I think he's going to bring in that to like Phil he did 2011 when he walked out and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah,
that's what
I have that feeling. Yeah, I have that feeling too. He is looking good. I'm going to start giving props when props are due. I think he does. He's looking improved. He looks bigger. Is he going to bring the conditioning?
And that makes a big difference too. Like you said, he looks happier in that. And, we say Milos was a coach and there his wife's coach. And I said, look, his wife doesn't really have to coach him. Just her support, being there to help him train, get his meals ready. If he's in a positive frame of mind and he's like on top of the world mentally, your physique's going to show that. Whereas if you could have a coach and you might have little arguments here and there or something's just not clicking, you're almost like, it's almost like if you have an argument with your wife or girlfriend, you go home and there's that tension in the air. Nothing just feels calm. It's like, oh, there's just that something nagging you. So, yes, you might push him to do the reps and push him to do this, but he pretty much knows how to train, what to take and stuff. So, but if his mindset is so focused where he just has to train, he's happy within himself and stuff like that, that makes all the difference on how you're going to look on game day and your training. So, yes, she might not be his coach per se, but if she's the one that's making him feel that way, positive and energy and you got that right frame of mind, then hey, that's all it needs. Sometimes that's all you need to win.
That's going to be an interesting matchup right there.
Right, I was just about to say that, Phil. I'm just about like, wow, look at that. It's like a Samson, Andrew. You have Hadi and Derek. It's like wow, those comparisons are going to be crazy.
And like you said, to see them side by side is going to be good.
Well, that's it, right? A lot of people are going to get exposed when they get side by side this Olympia, I think.
Because I guess you can do it with like videos and photos now, but we all know they're standing different. So when they're actually on the same stage together, it's going to be incredible, I think.
Get your popcorn ready, fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be one of the better Olympias.
That's the winner. Everyone else will be bitching and complaining.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for the Olympias. It's going to be crazy. But yeah, looking at Samson and Andrew stand by side here, What? Where's your eye drawn to, you guys?
I'm,
Who's
I'm,
is
draw,
it?
I'm drawn to Andrew when I see
Andrew right
him.
now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Andrew, yeah, like wow.
No.
He looks like one of those little moguls. It's like that doesn't look real. Like you want to be like poke it. Like, are you real? Like
Yeah. And he's 292, 288, whatever. It was that at finals. I think he was 288 at finals. And Samson's in the 290s on stage, give or take. So now he's caught
Yeah.
up to Samson. He was 275 last year, and Samson was in the 280s or whatever, 90s. So he's caught up.
he put
So
on muscle.
You know, I said they're both incredible, but I said my eye just keeps going to Andrew for some reason, even though they both look incredible. It's just
Because Andrew just structurally, I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
Just the waistline. His chest is so, they both got thick chest, but Andrew's, I don't know. It's just something about his physique since he added this little bit of size compared to last year.
Pops.
The only thing, though, is I'm hoping he nails it. Last year, they missed the mark because I was telling Pat, I said, something's not right with Andrew. Even in the back when we were pumping up, something wasn't right, but he did state that they missed the mark. So you gotta understand, the Olympia brings a lot of stress.
I hear you.
You know what I mean? You could be looking amazing right now, and then you have to deal with the stress of meeting the fans and all the crazy things they have us doing prior to even getting on stage. You know what I'm saying?
That's a great point, Phil. A lot of people don't understand that. I'm glad you brought that up because, like I said, it's different from every other shows. When you're at the Olympia, it's just a wow factor. You got to do so much things and be mentally prepared to do your things. It's like it can sort of throw you off if you're not mentally strong, or timing is everything. And I hear back there, it's chaos.
At least I don't have the banquet anymore, because I used to argue about this. Another thing I got in trouble about arguing was because we used to have, meet the Olympians, you signed the photos and meet the fans. Then back then also, Wayne DeMira used to have, for the VIP people, a banquet the night before the show, and we had to attend. So the night, say the show's Saturday, Friday night when you should be relaxing, tanning up, we had to get dressed in suits, go to a banquet, meet the fans, and watch them eat pizza and all this other stuff. And a couple of people say to me, Lee, why do the guys look so miserable? And I'm thinking, they got to compete at the Olympia tomorrow. It's 10 o'clock at night. We're here shaking hands, watching everybody fucking eat. It's like, how do you think we feel? It's like...
Crazy.
Of course.
Wow.
If you didn't go, because it was in our Olympia contract, if you didn't go to that, you'd be suspended. And then after the Olympia, they had another VIP party you had to go. So Paul Dillette and I would always just find Wayne, walk past Wayne. How you doing, Wayne? And then we'd exit out the doors like, Wayne saw us here, so he knows we're here. Let's fuck off.
Hunter Labrada, quick. What's your take on what's going on with his physique? Did he look better at this year or last year?
No. Me personally, I look at that. I mean, like he's missing the mark. He's missing the mark. Here comes show day, something just goes wrong. He looks great 2 weeks out, 1 week out, but when it comes show day, something's just missing. And I don't like that hernia needs to get fixed. It's a hernia. I don't care what anybody says.
That's what I said. That's what I was telling Patty. It's a hernia.
It's a hernia.
And that's the same. I don't know what it is about Hunter. Like he's got a great physique and that, but every time I see him, it's like I can't put my finger on it. There's just something missing, or there's something I just don't like. It. Like I said, I like his physique. He's got good size and shape, but there's just something missing. Like you said, when you look at Samson and Andrea like that, with Hunter, I'm like, yeah, but there's something. I put my finger on it. There's something that's just missing.
It looks.
I think he looked better last year. He looked better last year. I think adding the size.
Yes.
And then there's something going on with the midsection. I don't know exactly what's going on with that, but I just liked his structure last year because the separation in his quads was just all there.
Yeah.
You know, now it's just a block of meat that's just sitting there, you know.
I preferred him with hair too for some reason. If that's like, you know, is that a bit gay tendency? But he looked better with hair.
Yeah, I think he was just lighter. He was lighter and he was more streamlined last year, better separation, and that makes him just look better, maybe even bigger than he was, because he's bigger this year. So you put him on tissue, and he's rushing to get bigger, and then they start losing that refinedness to their physique.
Yeah.
And then, right? So then there goes the midsection. You start putting on that size too quick. Yeah. So I think that's what's going on with Hunter, but we'll see what happens. That he's going to Olympia.
I haven't got a crystal ball, but I see Hunter maybe around that 6th, 7th, 8th, somewhere with Nick in that area. If everyone's, I think it'd be around there. Then I even see, like right now, looking at Hunter there and Martin, I prefer Martin over Hunter.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's the way it's going to go, honestly.
Agree. I think so too. This is the wild card right here. Like I love his confidence, and I'm a big fan. I like Nick. It's just at the end of the day, it's aesthetically pleasing. It's just it doesn't aesthetically please me. It's just that he's a block of muscle. Like it doesn't structurally. I don't know.
Yeah, he's doing what Lee said. You said, Lee, like, why don't these guys stay covered up so when we see them we're surprised? Now he's starting to do that.
Well, I think Nick too. He's like Nick's in that thing where Nick he has the freak factor. To me, it's like Nick, just fucking go all out, be that freak. Marcus Rue was that freak. Okay, you might never win the Olympia, you might get a few seconds or thirds, but I think when Nick tried to do that, was it the Arnold or whatever, he got second, or like he tried to come in a leaner and harder,
to Andrew,
he lost the fullness, he lost that wow factor.
Or Samson, it was,
what do I do?
Yeah, that's why he lost, I think. He came down.
If I was Nick, just embrace
be you.
All out.
Be a mutant. That's what you are.
Just be the freakiest you can be. Don't worry about playing the waist. Like his waist is good, so it's not going to go crazy. He knows how to control it, but I'll be just adding the mass on and coming in as full as I can to be the freakiest up there, because yes, win the Olympia would be great, but I've known so many bodybuilders who never won shows, but go back to Tom Platz, Matarazzo, Victor Riches, all these guys, just from the freak factor in their bodies and the way they were, they made more money than the guys winning shows because people wanted to see them.
Yeah.
So Nick's a wild card. I don't know. I think maybe Martin's going to get ahead of Martin. Blocked me too, so I can't look at his photos on Instagram.
They can see you, Matt.
Martin blocked him.
As soon as I get up here, I'll block you too. Fuck you, just for the fun of it.
Be like, Lee, I can't see Lee's profile now. So yeah, I don't know. Nick,
blocking the right shit, dude.
You'll be. Keep playing mind games with me. So yeah, I kind of have Nick in the top 5, but I don't know where. He might be in that 5th spot. Maybe he'll shock us and come in like 3rd or some shit and take Samson.
Maybe hit top 3. That's what I said. It's such a up in the air Olympia where if everyone, let's just say everyone's on, all those top 6 are all on, I'd hate to be a judge. So.
Yeah. So we're gonna see. Speaking of Martin, you can kind of look at this comparison.
Well, then again, Bruno's in the Olympia. Bruno could win it now because strange things.
Bruno. Oh yeah.
Anything's possible now.
I don't know about that one.
That's a big possible. That's the needle in the haystack. Nothing against Bruno. Like that's wow.
Yeah. So if you guys want to compare the two, there you go.
Yeah, I think Martin's going to be better though. From what I see, because I'm not blocked from Martin, so from what I see with how Martin is looking now, he's going to be fuller. He's going to be a couple pounds bigger, and I know his condition is going to be on point. He wants revenge. I really think he wants to come and beat Nick. I think that's his motivation right now because he was almost there.
I agree. That's it.
And the judges are going to put them side by side for that comparison too.
They better. If they don't, it's a travesty. Like you have to.
Mm-hmm.
You have to.
Yeah, we're forgetting about Rafael Brandao. Like he could, he could be in there too. If it's,
I think John can be a wild card too. De La Rosa, he can.
Yeah,
he might not think he'll be in the top 6, but anywhere between 7th and 9th, he could slide in there with his, sometimes how he looks.
And there's Akeem Williams. He's big. He's got the size. He just needs
to peak. Akeem, if he's on, I mean Rafael. I love his physique.
Yeah,
but man, these guys are coming in big. This is a different Olympia than when he was in 2 years ago. I mean, this is a big thing now going on this 60th. So it's going to be rough for everybody. So everybody needs to come on and do the best they can and come take off heads. That's all I could say.
I agree.
Like Rafael's brought up the quad. They look bigger, man.
Yeah, and that's how all shows should be. It's like just go in. If you gave it 100% training, dieting, if you're at the best you possibly can be, whatever you get, you get. Don't be upset by your placings. Like don't blame the other person. They're doing their job just like you. It's like I always hate when athletes would get upset when someone beats them. I remember I won a show once and forget who it was in 5th place. Fuck Lee, I should have beat him. I'm like, okay, you say you should have beat me, but I was 1st, you were 5th. There was a guy in 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. You had to beat before you fucking got to me. So why are you picking on me?
Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, before we wrap up, I want to put a question to Phil Clahar. I don't know if you've made any the Masters Tokyo 2025. Have you decided? Are you going to do it? Or are you still waiting? Are you still pondering?
Well, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I'm on the list. I'm trying to clear some things up to make sure I don't take that trip and no shenanigans go on. So, I mean, I know it's definitely going to be Steve there, and they're going to have the Korean judges. So I think they always have to have a representative at one of these shows when it's out of the country. So, I'm still thinking about it. I'm not 100% sold on it yet, but we'll see. We'll see. But right now, I'm on the list, so we'll see what happens.
Watch out, Phil. Lee Preist might make it.
Yeah, he might come to the Masters.
Hey, that'd be great. I mean, it'll be great. Lee, you're still freaking jacked anyway. But I mean, Del Rosa said it could be a possibility. He would do it.
I'm 52.
But you got to remember, Bob said I'm a master competitor because I did the Master Olympia.
Yeah.
So he calls me a master competitor. They don't understand the Master Olympia. That's the elite of the masters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. Right now, I mean, Patty is all guns blazing. She wants me to do
Where's
it.
the 212 Masters? I want a 212 Masters.
Yeah, where's the 212 Masters?
Yeah, no
Take it back.
212.
There should be a 212.
No, they got 212. The Masters have 212.
Oh, wait,
Bob,
no
we're
classic.
gonna.
Yeah, Yamagishi won it last year, so they have 212.
They have no classic.
Actually, I've lost a bit of leg size now as I'm getting old. Where's the 190 Masters?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go for that.
Actually, then again, the way America is, fuck it. I want you to address me as Leanne. I'm doing the physique next year to women's
You see,
physique.
imagine Phil Lee in a bikini up there and
With a wig on? Oh god.
with the wig, with the
Sad thing
Superman hair.
the clitorius might be bigger than my willy, so I might still get beaten.
I think Phil, you still got the itch. I think you look at these guys, you're like, man, I can still do this. So
Normally you can tell when someone's done. Phil's not done. He's still
I
got
don't think it's done.
Well, Phil, like your arms look like my hamstrings. Like,
Yeah.
come on, bro.
You're not-
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But the point is, you know what? It's all about structure. Like you're making a fly across the world. Like what's
That's what I mean. I got to look at the finances and stuff like that. If I do it, I will definitely probably do Tampa before I go there.
Yeah, that makes
just
sense.
for like a little tune up. And I spoke to some people, so I just got to keep doing what I need to do and just clear some things up. And then we'll see. Most likely it'll be a surprise when I do it. But Muscle Discord, you'll be the first person to know from
interview exclusive.
if he hasn't blocked you by then.
If he hasn't blocked me. Be like, I saw that video Matt made. I was like,
Phil still enjoy. Say, look, if you got your health and you still love it and you're still enjoying it, you got the support of your wife, and then I say, hey, do it for you, nobody else, and just go in. And shut the naysayers up. Just go in and fucking.
I appreciate it.
Leave on a big note like, I won.
Yeah. Be an awesome comeback. And it's not like it's a comeback. I mean, you just whatever happened at these past shows, but it doesn't mean you're done.
Well, Jay Cutler wants me to go and win. He's a good supporter, man. Jay's very positive, talking to me. He spent a lot of time talking to me and Patty a lot in Romania because I told him, I was thinking about returning. He's like, why? He's like, man, for your age, you don't even look your age, and the muscle you keep putting on year after year. He said, I wouldn't, so we'll see at the end. And my health is good. That's one thing I'm very grateful for. Every 6 months, we get blood work. We got a heart checked. I mean, we're good when it comes to that. It's just a matter of, like I said, it's the finances. Japan's are very expensive. So we just got to look at some things and, and see what happens. But it may happen. But like I said, I'll let you know, Matt. Definitely.
I say give it one more shot. Come back your best ever. That way you have to sit there and listen to Bob say how good.
Oh, yeah. You're right. I want to shove it right in Bob's mouth.
What's that, Bob? You said I looked how good.
What was that?
Keep talking, Bob. Keep talking.
Oh, man. All right, guys. Well, this is a blast. Thanks, Lee, for jumping on here last minute, and everyone else. Thank you, too. We'll have to do it again. All right?
On Friday,
yes, sir.
I'm doing serious and silliness on Friday.
Oh, you are?
Oh.
I'll pray for you.
Oh.
Everyone will be blocking me after that one.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.
Okay. All right. Take care.
Take care, everybody.
Peace.
All right.
Thanks, Lee. Okay.
Bye, Lee. Bye, Phil.
Bye.
Bye. See you guys.